around the world, some of the headlines that we're watching around the world. Of course, we've been watching the military coup in Myanmar. The military remains defiant even as the United Nations issues a direct warning over the ongoing struggle for power in the Southeast Asian country. Ian Lee is following this story for us, has been, and also a number of other international headlines. You are in London. What is the latest? What's going on in Myanmar?
Good morning, Anne-Marie. Yeah, new charges were filed in Myanmar today against ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi, which could see her held indefinitely without trial. And the country looks like it's headed toward calamity as neither side is willing to give up. The ongoing brutal crackdown of protests by security forces is gaining more international attention. Now the United Nations is getting involved, telling the country's military rulers there will be severe consequences if the violent suppression continues. Even in the face of rubber bullets, water cannons, as well as live fire, the protesters continue to turn out in the thousands. They're demanding democracy be restored after a military coup earlier this month. The military has also stepped up their threats, warning of stiff penalties for anyone opposing their rule. Next, we are in the Central African Republic, where two ex-militia leaders are being tried for war crimes at the International Criminal Court. One of the men who led a predominantly Christian group is accused of attacking the country's Muslim population in 2013 to 2014. He's also accused of crimes against humanity. They've both pled not guilty. The country plunged into civil war back in 2013 when Muslim rebels seized power in the majority Christian country and still controls two-thirds of it today. And Christian militias rose up to counter the takeover, leading to thousands killed in subsequent clashes. Next, we are in Australia, where Prime Minister Scott Morrison is apologizing to a former political advisor. Brittany Higgins says she was raped by a senior colleague in the Prime Minister's office back in 2019. She feared losing her job after the incident and said she had little support from her bosses. Higgins' story sparked national shock and outrage. Morrison also said there would be a review of the complaint procedures. The allegations are now under a renewed police investigation. Finally, we're in Peru, where people are angry over the COVID-19 vaccine rollout. The country's foreign and deputy health ministers have resigned after it came to light that senior government officials were being vaccinated even before healthcare workers. The president launched an investigation to discover who else may have received the early shots. The country received its first 300,000 doses of a Chinese vaccine earlier this month. And Anne-Marie, Peru is struggling to control a resurgence of the virus. This second wave has seen cases quadruple as the country records now 1.2 million infections and more than 43,000 deaths.
Wow, well, it looks like Peru is dealing with, a similar issue to what we're dealing with here, in that you want to get the vaccine out, but which means that you have to put together the infrastructure and the planning as you're receiving the vaccine. Inevitably, there are going to be hiccups and bumps along the way. I hope they can figure it out. Lives are at stake. Ian, thank you so much.